So here's a quick video on how to increase your show rate. So, and I would say 95 to maybe even 99% of the time when people contact me asking me how they can increase their show rate, when I look at their accounts, they have the same issues. So I'm creating this video, even though it's all in the training videos that my clients watch before they start. They still sometimes forget. So this is a reminder video. And yeah, the clients who do this, they never contact me with any kind of issues about show rate, because when they do this, they get high show rates, and it's kind of obvious that they would, because it just makes sense. So I'm just going to go through them one by one. And if you're having an issue with show rate and you're not doing any of these things, please don't ask me about it, because I'm just going to tell you the same things. So please make sure you're doing these things first, because that will solve, I would say, 99.99% of show rate problems. So first of all, contact people when they book through text messages or SMS. So, you can try phone calls, and I used to encourage phone calls a lot, but what I've found from working in this industry for quite a while now, text messages work better. So yeah, you can, if you prefer calling, you could try that. But if they don't answer, because often people won't answer phone calls these days, just send them a text straight after that. So yeah, texting I have found is much more effective. And a lot of people will advise to make phone calls. You can try that. But if they don't reply, use a text. And I actually encourage you to use text more so, because people prefer texting these days. They're, often busy. They won't take a call, but they will reply to text, when they get a chance. So yeah, use text messaging a lot. Don't just call, and then if they don't answer, not follow up, don't do the whole thing of not calling or texting, because that's just, not how this works. You have to put in that effort. So the second thing is to use the student database that we provide when you're contacting them. So when you're sending those texts, use your student database or CRM. Use that, because the lead is getting text messages from that phone number. If you contact them from another phone number, they might not link up that it's the same company, or they might think that their name and number has been given out to lots of different companies, or they might think it's just some sort of spam. So if you send them a text from the student database, they've already received texts from there, and they will know it's the same person. So use the student database. It's really, really important to do that. If you start using a different phone number, you're going to get a lower reply rate. And, I'm just like, if we're bringing you a booking, you're getting very close to having a student. So you should really, do this properly. Contact them through the student database. Don't contact them through another phone number. If you follow the texting and contacting through the phone, through the student database, so that you're using the same phone number, they're the first 2 points, and they will help a lot. That's what I see a lot of people doing wrong. The next thing is to contact them fast. So the longer you leave it, the less chance you will get of having people reply. And, I explained this a lot, that you really need to contact them within 15 minutes if possible. I know sometimes that's not possible, but you should really, really try to do it as fast as possible. And leaving it for a day or something like that, there's really no excuse for that. You have time in a day, or if you don't have time, someone of your staff can do it, because if you don't have any time in the day, you surely have staff, because you're obviously very busy, and you must have, staff working for you who can do this. So just to illustrate that point further, I want to just show you some charts on how important it is to contact people fast. So this is making phone calls, which in some industries works really well, and some industries it's necessary to make phone calls. And this is to leads now, just leads, name, number, and email, not bookings. We're bringing it a lot further than the lead. These are people who've booked a class, they've chosen a class time, so they're a lot hotter of a prospect than just a lead. So this chart, you should get, if you look at this chart, consider that we're bringing you more than the lead. So we're bringing you the booking, the student booking. They've booked a class. So you should get better, better response rates than this. So you can see, if you reply to people within 5 minutes, the response rate is absolutely ridiculous. Like it's almost 100%. Even if you leave it to 10 minutes, it drops down significantly. After 90 minutes, there's pretty much nobody going to reply. So that should illustrate for you that it needs to be done fast. And as soon as a booking comes in, you get a text, you get an email, and you get a phone call and a notification from the app. There's 4 ways that you're notified about it. So, we tell you straight away when that booking happens. So you should jump on that straight away. Just think about it that, the longer you leave it, the less chance you have of getting that student. So, follow up with them and have a human conversation with them. Ask them the questions like, how old is your child, for example, if it's kids martial arts, or what's the child's name, or what's your name, or something like that. Well, if it's an adult martial arts, you'll have their name already. And even with the kids one, you'll have the name as well. But it's just making that conversation, anything to get the conversation going. And also, we send you an email with lots of different questions that you can ask people, that work very well, that we've seen work for other clients. And just follow the questions in those emails, and you will get a good response. And it's about having that human conversation. Don't just copy and paste a block of text and send it to them and say that's okay. People will just think that's an automation and they will ignore it. I've seen that before with clients. Just send simple text like you would send to a friend, just a short question, and get them to reply, and then build that connection, build that relationship. And you just cannot beat having somebody in your school, like an instructor or yourself, having a conversation with a potential student. You cannot beat that kind of a level of connection, because people have a lot of respect for instructors in schools, and if they're able to ask these questions and they find that they're really nice people and things, it just makes sense. The chances of them showing up just goes up dramatically. And you can't leave it all to automations, because people will ignore automation. Well, they're quicker to ignore automations than to ignore an actual person, and somebody who's an instructor in a school who's, a kind of a high status person. So it's really important to build that connection, create that rapport, and, and just make them feel comfortable and at ease. And, even if it comes to a stage that they have to cancel a class or they no-show or something like that, if you've already built that connection, you can just contact them again and just relate back to your last conversation, and your response rate is going to be much, much higher than if you have not made any contact before that. So I can't stress that enough. You need to have human conversations with them. Here's some more charts on how important it is to contact people as soon as possible. So you can see calling within 5 minutes is 21% more effective than calling after 30 minutes. So and after 90 minutes, basically it's gone way too late. You really need to contact them faster than that. And here's another one to demonstrate it. So you're 100 times more likely to connect when you respond to people within 5 minutes. You're 100 times more likely to make initial contact with the lead than if you wait over an hour. And again, you're 21 times more likely to qualify. The person is 21 times more likely to qualify, to actually get that response and get them in the door, when you respond to them within 5 minutes. And the other thing about it is, think about it. The person is booking, they're usually booking from their phone. And if you can contact them within 5 minutes, that phone is still in their hand, and you're much more likely to get a reply, rather than they could, for example, they could be at work after that, or they could be with friends or something. So if you text them an hour later, they might even see the text and just think, I'll get back to that later. But if you contact them straight away when they've got the phone in their hand, they're online already, and then, create that connection, you just can't beat it. And it makes sense. If you put yourself in their shoes, wouldn't you be impressed with that? And wouldn't you reply to it? And that brings me to my final step. If they don't reply, follow up with them. So for example, if you didn't get back to them quickly, they might not reply, or, for some reasons people won't reply. Follow up with them. So, and you can keep following up with them, for days even, and you should follow up multiple times. Don't be afraid of following up, because you're doing them a favor. They've put up their hand and said they're interested in classes, and you're doing them a favor by contacting them. And, just follow up, keep following up. Don't just do it once and say that didn't work and stop following up. Keep following up, because again, people are busy these days, and often they look at a text and think, I'll get back to that later, and then they'll forget all about it. But if you follow up, that will remind them. And, you know, people are usually, or very often anyway, grateful for that you followed up with them again. And, you know, don't ever be worried about following up a lot, because they've already gone through all the stages of picking a class time and, you know, and, you know, saying that they're going to the class. So you're following up, doing them a favor. So those are the things that will get you a high show rate. And please, I can't stress them enough. I know they're in a lot of different training videos, and you might be sick of me saying them already. And if you're doing them already, thank you very much. But if you're not doing them, this is what you need to do. And yeah, it's just that I always, whenever I check accounts that they want to increase their show rates, I always find that it's these issues. So yeah, please let me know if you have any questions about that. Thanks. Bye.